back, and we're going to start streaming Umineko no Naku Kuroni. Yes, I didn't want to deal with the fireworks yesterday. Let's turn down that sound a little more. After Genji finished his late meal, he went out to do nighttime rounds inside the mansion. He eaten some reheated soup that Goda had made, along with some random leftovers from the refrigerator. Those were all the things that Goda had made himself, and were, of course, delicious. Damn. Too bad he not here anymore. He half-heartedly gone to ask Rosa and the others what they would do for dinner. But he'd been yelled at by a voice telling him that the canned food they had would be enough, and the door wasn't even open for him. So ironically, the servant Genji was able to eat a more delicious meal. But why was it that Genji wasn't afraid to do rounds all by himself? Even though all those crimes had been committed, and many people had already met a brutal end. Judging by his appearance, he carried out his usual tasks without a trace of fear, as though everything were normal. You might think all the horrible events that day had been no more than a dream or an illusion. Was he taking a philosophical view, or had he just accepted his fate? Genji must have considered it a virtue, when the fate that awaited him was unavoidable. He carried out his duties systematically until the last moment. The depths of his heart would probably remain hidden for all eternity unless he spoke of them himself. He had returned his master key to Rosa, so the places he could reach were extremely limited. All he could do was walk around the hallways, checking to make sure all the windows were closed. That probably made his rounds go a lot faster than usual. At the sound of a reserved knock, Aunt Rosa, who had been falling into a doze, jumped and woke up, pointing the barrel of the gun of the door as she yelled. "Who is it?" I was napping on the sofa, and that voice also brought me back to reality. "Rosa, it is I, Genji." "Do you have some business? Don't worry about opening the door. Tell us from here."
"Yes, ma'am. In that case, forgive me for speaking in this fashion. I have found Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses."
"What did you say?" "I see. Very well, let's go and check them. Until I see the corpses, I won't believe anyone."
It's okay, Battler. If you stay with me, I'll definitely be okay.
Maybe my face seemed to darken with anxiety. Maria grasped my hand with her small hand and spoke softly, trying to give me courage. Since it was Aunt Rosa's job to ready the gun and stand guard, it fell to me to remove the barricade of sofas. When I finished, I took a backward glance at Aunt Rosa, who was pointing the barrel of the gun over my shoulder, and opened the door. "Genji, where are their corpses?"
"In the courtyard. I shall guide you."
"Valor, wait! Just in case, let's check the doors and windows of this room. Wait a second." Aunt Rosa called to me to halt and prevent me from going on ahead, and began to carefully check the locks of each of the windows. But those locks had already been checked once. It felt kind of unpleasant, as though she suspected I might have secretly unlocked them when she wasn't looking. No, maybe Aunt Rosa was right to be this cautious. Though it was called a courtyard, it wasn't really a pretty place you could take a walk in like a rose garden. On the contrary, since it was surrounded by all the mansion on all the sides, it made you feel a little uncomfortable, as though it was telling you there'd be no more escape from this mansion, no matter where you tried to run. On the other hand, that would mean even though we could still hear the violent winds, the wind itself was blocked. Genji held out an umbrella, but Aunt Rosa ignored him. She was probably hinting that the gun took two hands. It would be dangerous if you took the umbrella. We didn't need Genji pointing for us to notice. Right in the center of the courtyard, we could see where Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa lay. Aunt Rosa entered the courtyard without even opening an umbrella, so Genji and I also entered the courtyard without opening one. Only Maria opened hers. "Maria, is this, you know what?"
It's the 7th and 8th twilights.
I see. Certainly, just as Genji and the others said, there's horrible wounds on their necks. The cuts are quite sharp, almost as though it was sliced with a katana or something. Those gaping wounds on their necks definitely made me want to avert my eyes, but after seeing that Halloween party in the chapel, even though they look horrible, they were no longer enough to make me feel sick. Sorry. More importantly, our gazes fell to their legs, after Nanjo's knee, to Kumasawa's ankle. Driven to each of them with something like a knife or a stake with a demonic design. They must have been the same as the thing that pierced Jessica's back. What is this? It's just like what happened to Jessica. Is this supposed to be some kind of occult ceremony, I wonder?
I do not know. Last time I saw their bodies, it was nothing like these. Maybe it was done after they carried out the ceremony.
The one struck to Dr. Nanjo's knee was still standing erect, but the one that had been thrust into Kumasawa's ankle might have been a little shallower. It had come out and fallen over. So by looking at the one that had fallen over for the first time, I realized that it wasn't a knife, but something with a stake. Its full length was probably about 30 centimeters. It was probably made out of bronze or iron or something of the sort. Even without touching it, I could tell it had some weight to it. It was composed of a grip and a cone-shaped part. It was obviously made to be a piercing weapon. Maybe it was like a miniature version of those lances Western knights used to ride on horseback. The spiral-shaped ditches in it also made it look like a small drill. However, the grip had an occult design modeled off a demon or something. So instead of a weapon used in war, it felt like something that would be used in a ceremony to offer up something sacrificed. There's no mistake. They're meant to be sacrifices.
On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill.
Wait a sec. That means they've left out the 4th, 5th, and 6th twilights. It could be... Of course. Why is Genji alone? If something like this has happened, why aren't George, Goda, and Shannon here? Why was Genji alone? What's going on? Where did George and the other two go?
They said they wanted to search for something in Madame Natsuki's room and they left. They have not returned yet.
What'd you say? You say they left, but when was that?
2 or 3 hours ago, I believe.
No way! Why didn't you tell us something that... Wait, no. Why didn't you think that was suspicious?
There must have been at least one servant on standby at all times. It was my duty to wait for orders until they arrived.
Is Genji this much of a robot? This is bad. This is bad. It's really bad. Dr. Najo and Kumasawa were killed like this, which means these 3 have already been killed. I ran toward Aunt Natsuki's room with a touch of anxiety and just as much resignation. Before we even saw the inside of Aunt Natsuki's room, we were forced to resign ourselves to a certain fact. On that door was a bizarre scribble. No filth? Anyway, the room wasn't in an ordinary state, and without even opening the door, we could imagine what we'd find inside. On the face of the floor, how should I say it? Handprints done heavily with the same red paint as the magic circles from before had been banged on the door, scratched at it, dirtied it. It looked like the aftermath of a kindergartner playing in the mud. I didn't know what it could mean. The bright red paint that had been slathered on was dripping down. Even though no one had said it, it made us think of blood. Genji, please open it! Aunt Rosa held up her gun and ordered Genji to open the door. Genji approached it without seeming particularly troubled by the stuff on it and returned the knob, but immediately turned around, shaking his head. It was locked. At that moment, there was only one person in this mansion who could lock and unlock doors at will, Aunt Rosa. This time, Genji asked Aunt Rosa to unlock the door instead of the other way around. After frowning slightly for a second, Aunt Rosa handed me a master key and told me to open the door. Battler, would you open it for me with this? Just trusting Genji with something like that wouldn't... Aunt Rosa glared at me intensely. Getting into a fight here would only make the mood turn even more sour. Without talking back anymore, I approached that creepy door and tried the knob. It didn't open. was definitely the resistance of a lock. I stuck the master key into the keyhole. There was a slight resistance. When Rosa told me to be on my guard, I opened the door without really guarding myself in any way. And then there was a scene laid out before us that didn't betray my expectations at all. Horrible. As I thought, it's a reproduction of the 4th, 5th, and 6th Twilights.
Ah!
Inside of the room looked as though a robber had just broken in. Drawers had been flung open, pulled out, and had their contents thrown about all over the place, leaving the room so cluttered you'd never believe it belonged to the methodical Aunt Natsuki. But the very first thing that caught our eyes was Goda's corpse lying face down right in front of the door. Right in the center of his chest, almost as though it had been stuck there to finish off a vampire, was one of those demon stakes from before. Exactly how far could it have reached after being stuck that deeply into his chest? Just imagining would make anyone's chest hurt. Wasn't gouging the chest the 5th Twilight?
Ah!
Maria grabbed my hand. Her expression looked just like normal. Maybe she was really afraid of the aura in this room where 3 corpses lay. And along the wall, the farthest of the room, George lay dead. This time one of the stakes had been rammed right into the center of his stomach. Gouging the stomach, the 6th Twilight. Shannon's corpse was face down in front of the dresser, lying in a sea of blood. Had she seen her own face at the end, in that horribly broken mirror stained with blood? She was lying that way. I couldn't see her face, but I could guess even without seeing it. Maybe, near her in the sea of blood, she lay in a demon stake had fallen. Only the 4th Twilight was left. Gouged the head and killed. Maybe my heart was totally worn out and dead, even though I knew it was wrong. I lifted her head and checked, and I confirmed my guess had been right on the mark. There was a gaping hole in Shannon's head. The sides were dripping out. Not only that, but you could even see inside her. After seeing that, I finally realized I was doing something wrong. I immediately averted my eyes, but by now it was probably pointless. Hey, Battler! You mustn't touch anything until the police come! What do you think you're doing touching it? What will you do if our precious evidence on the scene gets disturbed? Aunt Rosa got violently mad at me and even tugged at the back of my collar. I tottered limply and fell on my butt, gazing dimly up at the ceiling. Maria.
Huh?
Like this, even the 8th Twilight is over. What was the 9th Twilight again?
On the 9th Twilight, the witch shall revive and none shall be left alive.
I see. After this, the Golden Witch Beatrice will be revived. What then? On the 10th, final Twilight?
On the 10th Twilight at Journey's End, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. Very soon, the door to the Golden Land will be open. Very soon.
The witch shall be revived and none shall be left alive. I'm gonna die now. This is when the ceremony of the sacrifices is over. And now at Journey's End we'll reach the Golden Land. What is our journey? We spent the whole day trying to find the culprit, spinning our heads as we try to break out of this situation. We haven't gotten anywhere. It's like they say, thinking stupid is no better than sleeping. That's right. We spent the whole day burning ourselves up with hatred and paranoia. We're so sure we can only trust the dead. We came all the way here just to confirm these 3 deaths with our own eyes. We're like this. Why should we be able to make it to the Golden Land? That's right. We couldn't resolve any of our problems anyway. It's so much better if we locked ourselves up by the whole time without thinking at all. Grandfather's the wisest of us. Shut up in his room since yesterday without any contact with anyone. It was the right decision. Grandfather was the most correct of us all.
It's okay, Valor. If you're with me, you'll be okay. The witch is very fickle. She's a terrifying being who might kill humans partly for fun sometimes. However, if you're with me, you'll be okay. So don't be afraid.
Thank you. Even if you're just saying it to console me, I'm glad. After Aunt Rosa finished investigating their corpses, she announced she might seal this room again, chased the rest of us out, and stole back the master key she'd lent me, and locked the door again. Apparently George had been holding the key to Aunt Natsuki's room. She also collected that. Wait a minute. She's got all the master keys on her person. If Natsuki's own key was locked up inside this room, doesn't that make it another closed room? So what? Is this the fourth closed room? Now that the suspicious surroundings of those three had been cleared, we returned to the parlor once more. I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. If only the dead are innocent and everyone alive is a wolf. That leaves only me, Aunt Rosa, Maria, and Genji. And besides us, there's only grandfather and that 19th person. Guess we see no trace of Beatrice. 13 people have died and 6 are left. How would a wolves and sheep's puzzle with only 6 people end? Even though a puzzle that started with 19 people has been reduced to 6. I can't think of an answer. We returned to the parlor. I was a bit worried while we were gone. A creepy magic circle or something might have been drawn on the parlor door. But thankfully we didn't find anything like that. Thank you, Genji. This is far enough. Please rest for the day.
Certainly. Then please excuse me.
Hey, Aunt Rosa, are you saying you'll leave Genji all alone in a situation like this? That's right. I do think it's quite dangerous. But in that case, why is he safe? After those 3 headed to Natsuhi's room, he was alone the whole time, and yet he's safe. It's a wolves and sheep's puzzle. Why would a sheep be safe if it was all alone, and therefore in its weakest possible position? Probably because by coincidence, there weren't any wolves around. Wrong. It's because it wasn't a sheep. Are you saying Genji's a wolf? He said he was alone in the kitchen, but that's impossible to prove. The only ones who could have carried Dr. Nanjo and Kumasawa's corpses, who could have killed George and the rest, were him and Beatrice, right? Wait, with that argument, anyone...
Madeline, thank you for your concern. I believe trust is won not with hundreds of excuses, but simple faithfulness. Even if I'm not able to gain your trust, I wish to be faithful until the end.
Genji. Then, we're decided. If you truly are innocent, the police will prove that for us when they come tomorrow. So until then, we cannot remove you from suspicion. After your long years of service, I find it truly painful to treat you so poorly. But please understand about tonight. And when tomorrow comes, please let us make up again. Genji gave his head a small shake.
Today and tomorrow, I will continue to be the servant of the Ushiromiya family. If you need anything, please say so at any time. Then, if you will excuse me.
After hearing all that, there was nothing left to say. Genji bowed deeply and left the hall. Then we entered the room. Even though Aunt Rosa still held all the master keys herself, she thoroughly checked the inside of the parlor again. She opened the curtains and checked again to make sure the windows were locked. As I watched, how should I say it? Felt like it didn't even really matter anymore. If I said anything careless, it would turn to another fight. For a while I gazed at her from the corridor, figured I'd just wait about long enough and enter the parlor behind her. If she doesn't trust anyone but the dead, why doesn't she just go around killing everyone with the gun she's got in her hand? And in the end, she'll realize that she herself is the wolf. That she can just blast through the head of the final wolf, close the curtain on this insane murder drama. As I thought that bitterly, I returned to the sofa where I had been encamped before, rudely resting both of my feet on the table. When I tried to do that, I found something there and stopped moving my feet. What is this? Right there, almost as though it had been addressed to me, was a Western envelope. It was an envelope from before, but with the seal of the one-winged eagle. And it was unopened. Wait. What is this? Who put in a place like this and when? Until I went with everyone to check the corpses. I was sitting here the whole time. There wasn't anything there then, and when I returned, it was here. It's okay. Everything's still locked up securely. This room is safe. I heard Rosa muttering that. Wait. We made sure this room was safe when we left it. We checked the windows were all perfectly locked. And we locked it up, came back, and the windows were still locked. Then wait, who put this letter here and how? I opened up the letter. 2 pieces of stationery came out. The first page had a magic circle drawn with something like blood. If I asked Maria, she'd probably know what it meant. Then there was writing on the other page.
Have you made any progress in solving the epitaph? In just a short while, your time will be up in a flash. The night twilight will begin quite soon.
There was no mistake. It was a letter from Beatrice.
Huh? Battler! What is that?
When we came here just now, it was sitting right here. What happened, Maria? Huh? Balor, that letter. Wait, it was sitting right here. Why? Even though we checked to make sure this room was locked. Why? Why? Maria, come here. Aunt Rosa closed her eyes a little and, after thinking silently for a moment, told Maria to come. Maria obeyed her mother's word. As she did, something unbelievable happened. Aunt Rosa pointed the barrel of that gun at me. Balor, I concluded that you are a wolf. Why? When I came into the room just now, I saw there was nothing at all on the table. And I know that Maria did not approach that table. We were talking about a short stretch of time, but the only one who claims to have approached the table and found the letter is you. How can you... Wait, that's all screwed up! How would I put something like this on here? Wait, I just found something suspicious and reported it, right? Why are you suspecting me? Because only you could have sent that letter there. That's right. This is all a charade. You pulled an envelope from your pocket and then acted as though you just found it, to create the illusion the witch entered a closed room and set down a letter and left. Dumbass! Are you thinking like that again? You suspect me because of something like that? Cut it out! My dad and everyone else were killed! Why would I take part in a culprit's scheme? True. Even if you were offered a large sum of money, I don't want to believe in the existence of a sort of demon who could sell out their own parents. Then again, maybe such a demon does exist. No, that's a bad way to say it. What if you didn't view Rudolph and Kyrie as your parents? What? Think about what you're saying! Dad is dad, right? Of course I'm not related to Kyrie by blood, but she's like a big sister to me. No way in hell I'd like a comment like that slide, you bastard!
Stop it!
Stop saying ugh! I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. True, Ushiromiya Balor may be Rudolph's Fibs. I'm sorry, that was a bad way to prove. Sorry, that was what the fuck? Let's try that again. I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. It's true that Ushiromiya Rudolph is... Okay, let's try that again. Why do I keep messing up? It's true, that was a bad way to put it. It's true that Ushiromiya Balor is Rudolph's son. Let's try that again! I'm sorry, that was a bad way to put it. It's true that Ushiromiya Balor is Ushiromiya Rudolph's son. But are you really that battler? What the hell are you talking about? If I'm not Balor, who else do I look like? All of us, including Rudolph, are seeing you for the first time in 6 years. No one can prove that you're really Ushiromiya Balor, right? Maybe you aren't Balor, but someone who snuck in and made a skillful bid to steal the wealth of the Ushiromiya family. Can you clearly prove that you're Ushiromiya Battler? Right here, right now? Cut it out, damn it! I'm me, Ushiromiya Balor! If we're gonna suspect even things like that, are you really Ushiromiya Rosa? I'm myself, no one else! Yeah, that's right, it's just as you say. You can't trust anybody but corpses and yourself! If you're gonna go that far, let me make an objection! George and the others were found dead and Aunt Noxie's room was locked. George had the key to that room, right? Am I now the only one with the master keys? You, Aunt Rosa, right? Aren't you the only one who could unlock that room? My theory goes like this. You're in contact with the real culprit. And while I wasn't looking, you lent them one of the 5 master keys. I didn't do something like that. See? There are 5 of them right here, right? As if that matters! You could have had set them in a prearranged spot and collected it, right? And weren't you the one who doubted whether there were really 5 master keys? So how do you suggest that someone other than yourself placed that letter there? Until you find proof that someone else did it, you are a wolf! Shut up! Then why don't you show me some proof? How do you claim the culprit killed George and the rest of that closed room? How did they lock it?
That's exactly right. Natsu's room was exactly the same, just as usual. The door and the windows were locked from the inside. There were no frauds or tricks or means of secret passages or places in which to hide. Natsu's own key was in George's pocket, and the inside of the room was sealed off. Only the 5 master keys were left, and Rosa was holding all of them. And let me say this, the parlor is the same. The key to the parlor itself is sealed away in the servant room. So unlocking without a master key is impossible. The definition of a closed room remains the same as always. Come on now, there's only one suspect. Or are you still playing innocent? Who's shooting me a battler?
Shut up! You shut up too! You're the one who should shut up! How do you claim the letter was placed there by anyone other than you? Unless you can prove such a thing happened, you are a wolf! If we can suspect me, then we can suspect you too, so try and show me some proof yourself! And anyway, weren't you the first person to enter this room and start checking the windows on Rosa? Then you guess I'd go back to where I've been sitting and secretly put the letter there. It's possible for us to suspect that this is a trap of yours, right? Why would I use such a trap like that? If I was a wolf, I'd shoot you with this gun without question. That proves nothing! Maybe you chose the roundabout way of setting a clever trap because you couldn't commit murder in front of Maria! All the master keys are in your hands! So what happened both here and the last room was all you're doing, right? If you think you can talk your way out of this, then let's hear your excuses! That's right. You've been suspicious from the start, Rosa! Why is it that even though 6 adults in the family conference were killed, you were the only exception? Why were you the only one not in that shamble? There can only be one reason. You invited Dad and the rest there and killed them! Damn it, damn it! That explains everything, doesn't it? Don't fuck with me! Don't fuck with me! Stop saying the things that don't make sense!
Stop it! You mustn't fight! Mama too! Valor too! Stop it! Stop it! It's no one's fault! It's not Valor or Mama's fault! The witch did all of this! It was done with magic! It's no one's fault!
Maria thrust herself in between Aunt Rosa and me as the blood started rising to our heads. I was taken aback by Maria's crying voice and returned to my senses. I had acted shamefully just now. My eyes were filled with tears. That's right. It's all the witch's fault, isn't it? All this about the keys and tricks and alibis. All of it was stupid! Even though it's the work of the witch, we weren't able to even trust each other as humans. Right on, Rosa? From the beginning, there wasn't a human culprit. It was all the work of a witch. So there's no way you're the culprit, and there's no way Maria, Genji, or I am either. Why does it come to this? Why am I screaming at Aunt Rosa, who I loved? Why am I having this fight? With the kind aunt I love so much. Why? Why does everyone have to suspect each other? I'm not gonna suspect my aunt. I'm not gonna suspect anyone. It's all the work of a witch. It's all the work of Beatrice. It's all a crime that Beatrice committed with magic. Beatrice! Please show yourself here and confess to us that you did everything. I'm sorry already. I'm sorry we've been suspecting each other like this. So forgive us. Release us. Release us from this hell of suspecting each other until we see each other die. Give me my kind relatives and cousins back. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it all. You definitely exist. It's your victory. I still alive? Apparently some time ago, Kinzo had fallen into a doze. He searched for his spectacles and looked at the clock. It was 10 p.m. That person's ceremony. Let's see how far it's progressed. It must have come quite far by this time. Kinzo lifted his heavy body from the chair and approached the portrait of the witch that he had gazed at every day. Beatrice, very soon I will have a chance to be reunited with your smile. I care not if I die. I can just see your smile one more time. I will not regret this life so. For heaven's sake, let me meet with you one more time. Then let me swear my love to you and apologize for my crimes. Oh, but I won't let you escape. You are mine. From your hair to your toenails to the dirt under your toenails, you are mine. Every fragment of your flesh is mine. Even the broth of your corpse is mine. I won't let you escape this time. You won't slip from my hands. I'll make you mine for all eternity. I will never let you escape a second time. I will never let you escape a second time. Kinzo howled in rage and suddenly fell to his knees as he shook and scraped at the wall. In an instant he had started sobbing. Ah! That's wrong. I didn't want to say something like this. Beatrice, please, let me see you one more time. Even if you only let me apologize. Ah! Beatrice! Ah! You are beloved. Yearned for. I was mistaken. If you would just smile, I wouldn't need anything else. I made a mistake. I made a mistake back then. I did something that cannot be taken back. In atonement, I offer all remains of my life in order to apologize to you, in order to atone for my crimes. I offer everything. Please, even if it must happen as I die, at least let me apologize. Just once, Beatrice! Ah! Ah!
I'm sorry, I can't take him seriously because I don't like him.
So if he sounds terrible, I don't care. As Kinzo shook and cried, a butterfly appeared out of nowhere behind his back, small back like a flake of gold leaf, and softly descended. You fool, Kinzo. Do you think any woman out there would fall for a man's tears? Well, even if it would make a human woman fall for you, it might do the trick for a woman who is not human. Kinzo, do you remember that game of chess you played with me, which is still ongoing? Kinzo, as though he had suddenly remembered something, approached this chess set. It was as it had been during the game he played with Nanjo until yesterday. After knocking all the pieces off the chessboard, he began to line them up again one by one. It was a setup for an ongoing game. That's right, like this! I advanced my queen. It was quite a spectacular move. Perhaps it was a little too intense for you. I worried whether you would abandon your piece or not. Worried for so long. Kinzo waited with the opposite seat empty. Surely, very soon, his opponent would appear there, and he would be able to restart this game again. You fool, Kinzo. You want to apologize. You want to see my face again. You want to make my smile an eternal thing. Why can't you say a far much simpler word, even though that is the sole element of this world? At that time, Kinzo muttered. Was it a prayer? An entreaty? It was probably best to just call it muttering. I love you, Beatrice! They were pure words, like something an innocent child would say without any evil intent. You
really are a fool, Kinzo. If you ever had the chance to do your life over again, know that those words will never cause a woman to fall for you. That's right. Not unless a miracle happens. That's what makes this.
At that moment, Kinzo definitely heard a small knock, one with a tempo that differed from those of the servants.
Who is it?
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
I'm asking who you are! Will you not answer?
The woman beyond the door didn't answer.
Could it be? Oh! Could it be? Beatrice! Beatrice! Beatrice!
The woman beyond the door answered. On the ninth twilight the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. Alright, before we continue, let's look at the tips really quick. Servant Shannon died in Natsu's room with her forehead pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. At the fourth twilight gouged the head and kill, she spent her last moments with her beloved. Servant Goda died in Natsu's room with his chest pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. At the fifth twilight gouged the chest and killed. The cook was cooked. He's still gone. Ushiramiya George died in Natsu's room with his stomach pierced by a weapon shaped like a stake. At the sixth twilight gouged his stomach and killed. It is possible they would have ended up as the second twilight. Let's see. Family Dr. Nanjo. His horse, which had gone missing, was later found in the courtyard. At the time, it had a weapon shaped like a stake rammed into its knee. With this, the seventh twilight is finished. Servant Kumasawa, her corpse, which was found on let's try that again. Servant Kumasawa, her corpse, which had gone missing, was later found in the courtyard. At the time, it had a weapon shaped like a stake rammed into its ankle. With this, even the eighth twilight is finished. Now let's resume back to reading. Fowler's figure was in the dining hall. He didn't feel like going back to the guest house in the middle of all this rain, and wandered half-heartedly around the mansion in search for any place he could sit before setting up camp in the dining hall. He didn't even lock the door. He thought the shapeless murderer, or maybe the Golden Witch, might come to kill him now that he was isolated, but he no longer had any desire to resist. He didn't even feel like using a locked door to hold off the culprit. He wanted that person to come at him openly from the front. If it was the killer, he wanted to ask them about some of those wonderful closed room tricks as a parting gift. If it was the witch, he hoped she'd at least take his life with some spectacular magic. However, ironically, neither of these two came to meet him. Fowler opened the liquor cabinet of his own and enjoyed the liquor to his heart's content. No longer was there anyone to scold him from drinking alcohol. He boldly rested his legs on the extravagant tablecloth and savored the high-quality liquor, which probably had a mind-boggling price, drinking it down straight from the bottle. Then, someone knocked. Fowler realized someone had finally come to greet him. "Hey, it's not locked. Whoever you are, please come in, and go ahead and introduce yourself. If you're human, please give me your name. If you're Beatrice, please tell me your bust size. I may not look it, but I'm well known as the breast sommelier, you see." Sorry, I don't know how to do that.
It is I, Genji, Battler.
Genji, huh? Sorry, but I got no interest in your bust size. Please come in, it's unlocked.
Excuse me.
Genji opened the door and bowed. So, is Genji the criminal after all, or maybe an accomplice? That theory would probably explain most of the tricks. Did you come to give me my last rites?
Nothing of the sort. I apologize if I'm disturbing you.
Hey, saying I'm sorry without even telling me what you want is actually pretty creepy. What do you want? Are you gonna tell me that drinking alcohol is forbidden for minors? I'll just die anyway. Please let me do what I want. Now that it's all about to end.
Battler, do you love alcohol so much that you would spend the little time you left drinking?
Those words pierced me. That wasn't true. I just can't cope if I don't drink. I can't even taste the alcohol at all.
You are just like the Master. Indeed, you inherited the Master's blood strongly.
You mean Grandfather, the heavy drinker, was drinking to drown his sorrows the whole time? First I've heard of it.
After several sad incidents, the Master's life was reduced to one of atonement alone. Wait, let's try that again. After several sad incidents, the Master's life was reduced to one of atonement alone.
What is it that you know? I keep messing up all over the place. I'm getting upset.
Beatrice's ceremony was complete with the 8th twilight ended. I believe I can tell you everything now.
What did you say? My drunkenness was completely blown away. I lowered my feet from the table and listened carefully to what Genji would say next.
Battler, I shall guide you to the Master's study. It would probably be best to hear it directly from both the Master and...
From both Grandfather and... Hey, what in the world do you mean by that?
Come, this way. I shall guide you, Battler.
After Genji told me to follow him, he started to walk down the corridor. I threw my drunkenness off completely and went after him. We climbed a big staircase toward the 3rd floor. Genji stopped walking halfway, then he turned back and spoke.
Battler, from here on out, you will probably see things you will not be able to understand.
Don't think that'll scare me. I've already seen enough incomprehensible things today to make me sick.
Please accept that what you see as you see it. Accept what you hear as you hear it.
Why? What? There's no need for questions like that.
Wait,
Whoops. Is that Genji again?
gosh. Why? What? There is no need for questions like that. You will learn the truth and that is all. I will leave it completely up to you, Battler. Whether to accept it, believe it, or deny it.
Genji checked one last time to see whether I was prepared to know the truth. The 8th twilight had already ended. On the 9th twilight, the witch would revive, and nobody would be left alive. It meant that Beatrice has already been revived. It probably meant that none of us would be allowed to return alive. If I was going to lose my life anyway, I wanted to know the truth in the end. It didn't matter how hard it might be to accept. Yeah, even if a demon or a witch shows up, I'm prepared.
Indeed, you are just like the Master in his youth. Battler, please be diligent in your studies. In the future, you will surely have great aspirations. When that time comes, see to it that you are never forced to regret a lack of study and training.
I'd be happy to, assuming I ever get a chance to work hard in my studies. Genji's silence felt like it was further confirming a certain resigning feeling I had. And then the door to Grandfather's study, surrounded by a sweet smell, came into sight. Genji took a gold key with an elegant design from out of his pocket. The Master's keys had been confiscated by Aunt Rosa, but he kept the key to the study alone on his person. He put it in the keyhole, and it made a heavy clunking sound.
Master, it is I, Genji. I have brought Battler with me.
There was no reply, but it seemed that it was permission to go inside that had been given.
Come, Battler. Please go in.
Okay, I'll go in. I readied myself and threw the door open. At the moment, I got slightly disoriented by this golden dazzling glow. It was unbelievably a swarm of butterflies that shone gold. The gold butterflies that completely filled the inside of the study poured out all at once. What is this? It was almost like golden leaf confetti. The interior of Grandfather's study was filled with golden glow. And on the sofa, like a reception chair in front of the study desk, I could see Grandfather's back. There was someone on the side opposite from Grandfather. It was in shadow, so I couldn't see it well.
Master, I brought Battler.
Battler, is it? I'm busy thinking now. Be silent for a while. Kinzo declared that unhappily his back still turned. It seemed he was enjoying a chess game with a visitor. Apparently the opponent had counterattacked with a superb move. Kinzo seemed to be enjoying himself as he thought deeply, while occasionally laughing and groaning.
I have thought for 30 years. I have thought for 30 years about how to counter this move. Have fun. Have fun with the move I have fermented for 30 years.
Indeed, this is a deeply matured move. What fun, what fun. I see I am no match for you. What is this?
So you came, Battler. I've been waiting for a while. Be silent for Kinzo's sake. Isn't it too early to resign, Kinzo? I could have countered that move in several ways already.
Should have been my first meeting with that witch. However, I knew this witch. Even though it was our first meeting, I knew her from the portrait.
Genji, serve some alcohol for Battler. What would be an appropriate liquor for this man? That is which the master has loved since the days of his youth. Good, good, serve it. You did well coming here, Ushumiya Battler. First sit down. You called my name many times, did you not? In deference to that, I allowed you to meet me. So, what will you ask me? What will you inquire? The door to the Golden Land will soon be open. Soon we will have a banquet to celebrate my revival, at which I will be welcoming in the witches. In the meantime, I'll answer your questions. As many as you like.
I've got a bunch of things I want to ask. What happened on this island? And why did incidents like these occur? I want to ask about the closed rooms, too. What about the chapel? What about Jessica's room? And the servant room? And Aunt Natsuhi's room? And the parlor? There's so much more I want to ask. About the witch's true nature. Is Beatrice really a witch? What's your goal and what do you want to make us do? And why did you call me here? Answer me about everything! Ah, be quiet! You think you'll get answers if you ask?
Don't say that, Kinzo. A fragile and fleeting spiderweb did offer protection from King Heroic once. Just like there are no useless things in this world, there are also no useless questions. Very well. I will answer all your questions, but only on one condition.
What is it?
If you hear everything and are able to accept my existence, then you will kneel and kiss my shoes. I called you here because I wanted to make you surrender to me. Kinzo and I made a bet. We bet on which would come first. Kinzo thinking of a new move, or me making you surrender. I don't think I'll lose.
Damn you, talking so tough. Yeah, alright. Try and convince me. Try and convince me that you're a witch who uses weird, awesome, powerful magic. If I surrender, I'll kiss you or do anything else. The witch cackled gloatingly. Then she glared at him unpleasantly with eyes that said a man can't go back on his word.
Well said. So, from what question shall I begin? I'll answer everything. Come, what will the first one be?
And then Then the witch started to tell everything. She began answering all of Balor's questions. Everything made sense and he was convinced by all of it. And then Balor had no choice but to admit it. The witch certainly did exist. What followed is a story that needs no retelling. When the king falls and you are defeated, it's time to start reflecting on your finished game. And then all you can do is set up the pieces one more time. Second game, Turn of the Golden Witch. Result. Ushirimiya Kraus. Died in the first twilight. Ushirimiya Natsuki. Ushirimiya Ava. Ushirimiya Hideyoshi. Ushirimiya Rudolph. Ushirimiya Kirie, chosen by the Key of the Golden Land and offered up as a sacrifice. Ushirimiya Jessica. Died in the second twilight, pierced through back by the stake of Asmodeus. Servant Cannon, pierced through the chest by the stake of Satan. Servant Shannon died in the fourth twilight, forehead gouged by the stake of Mammon. Servant Goda, chest gouged by the stake of Beelzebub. Ushirimiya George, stomach gouged by the stake of Lucifer. Family Doctor Nacho, knee gouged by the stake of Belphegor. Servant Kumasawa died on a twilight leg gouged by the stake of Leviathan. The witch Beatrice revived on the ninth twilight. She finally opens the door to the Golden Lake. Ushirimiya Kinsen, missing on the 10th twilight. After he acknowledged the existence of the witch and prostrated himself, the witch invited him to the Golden Land. Ushirimiya Rosa, the witch did not invite this woman who denied the witch's existence to the Golden Land. Ushirimiya Maria, servant Genji. Ushirimiya Balor, missing on the 10th twilight. Will he acknowledge the witch's existence and be invited to the Golden Land? The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures of the Golden Land. There they chose to revive the dead souls and the love that was lost. After all, if their desire had been a mountain of gold of any size, they would not have been able to receive it. Enzo chose the person he had loved and lost. Maria chose the lost love of her mother. Genji chose a peaceful sleep. Sleep peacefully, Beatrice. Let nothing disturb your slumber ever again. The winner is the Golden Witch Beatrice, because time ran out before any of the 18 could solve the riddle of the gold. All 18 died. When the seagulls cried, none were left alive. Alright, I did a good job not messing up too much on that one. I mean, I still sort of messed up, but it wasn't too bad. That was a lot more smoother than the first one. I didn't feel like announcing the other numbers of the Twilight Zone. Where are you, Beatrice? Show yourself! Beatrice! Rosa finally arrived at the chapel. She pointed her gun around her, screaming the witch's name, but there was no way she would receive an answer. After grimacing slightly, she noisily approached the table where her siblings' corpses lay exposed and stretched out her arm toward a gold ingot. It was very heavy, but Rosa didn't mind. She wrapped that up in a blanket and threw it over her shoulder. At least, just this one. This alone should be worth over 10 million. Without letting go of her gun, Rosa picked up the gold as well. Her shoulders were screaming, but Rosa didn't mind.
It will happen very soon. Very soon the door to the Golden Land will open.
Stop laughing with that creepy voice! Where's Beatrice? Yeah, I know she's around here somewhere, right? You know where, right? Where is she?
I don't know. Even if you don't search for her, you'll be able to see her in the Golden Land. Ow!
Stop laughing like that! It almost makes me want to laugh. That's right. That was definitely a witch. Definitely a witch! I didn't understand. I thought she was a human calling herself a witch, but I was wrong! That really was a witch! I won't be fooled by something like that! You're there, right? Come on out and show yourself! Beatrice!
I told you she'll appear very soon. The door to the Golden Land will be open.
That's right. Isn't that splendid? I care not. I abandon that rook. You women are a king that cannot be reached without the resolve to lose everything one has. I'll corner you, Beatrice. At least call me a queen. What a brilliant move. So your blood, no, the Ushiramiya blood is bad at giving up. Let's try that again. At least call me a queen. What a brilliant move. So your blood, no, the Ushiramiya blood is bad at giving up. How pleasant. What a truly elegant night. Master, Beatrice, it will soon be time for the banquet. Already! That was fast. Every night I pass with you goes by swiftly. The moon falls like an apple and the sun leaps out of the river like a small fish. It is time, so let us go. Rise, battle. The banquet to celebrate my revival will now begin. I'll introduce you as my new furniture. No, as my toy. To the dignitaries among witches. The witch was relaxing elegantly, her feet thrown out from the sofa and resting on top of a footrest. However, the footrest wasn't part of the sofa, but a human. Human that is down on all fours. Beatrice, your silk dress. You are the guest of honor, but I am a host. I will go out first. It'd be nice if Shannon were here to help you dress, but unfortunately it seems she no longer remains. She's never around when I want to use her. An entirely useless person. However, you did well to remain here. I am happy, my friend. I'm grateful for your words. Good. Wait downstairs, you two. Genji, good work. Set the dress down over there. Certainly. Well then, master. We will go first. Beatrice, I'll see you later. Indeed. Hinzo and Genji left the study. After that, the witch and the dress and the furniture remained. Do you know why I'm not embarrassed to show myself to you naked? It's because you're furniture. Furniture, understand? Furniture, just furniture. Who would feel shame at exposing their body to furniture? So there's no reason for me to feel shame in front of you. The witch rose and her jacket slipped off just from her shoulders. After that, the jacket fell to the ground with a thump. When the furniture respectfully approached to pick up those clothes, the witch gave it a small kick and it fell over. The furniture was afraid of what misconduct it might have shown. Do you, as furniture, plan to force me to unbutton myself? Stand and undo the buttons, one by one with care, quickly, gracefully, with no mistakes. The guests are being kept waiting, so change my clothes quickly. Yes. Undo them with care. Those buttons are each worth more than one of your eyeballs. If you make a mistake and break them,
I'll sew your eyeballs in instead.
The entrance hall was bustling with a crowd of shadowy people. It sparkled gold with gold butterflies flying about. The gentlemen in suits and tuxedos and the ladies in dresses looked like they were having a great number of friendly chats. At a glance, it might have looked like a fabulous medieval ball. But they all had one thing in common, and that thing was exceedingly bizarre. Because all of them had goat heads. Was it a goat masquerade? Or did they really have goat heads? It probably couldn't be the latter, but in this bizarre world, I really didn't know which was true. Kinzo was among one of those goat nobles greeting them. Kinzo's greetings were more respectful than would have been expected, as though these were all honored guests. At the time, Genji's voice rang out through the hall. It was a voice calling for silence. That voice stopped the idle chatter, and everyone turned to face Genji.
Tonight we celebrate the appearance of our golden witch who has achieved her revival, the Lady Beatrice. Everyone please welcome her with your applause.
When Genji began to applaud, it quickly spread to the guests and became a roaring ovation. Then the Golden Witch appeared from the top of a large staircase. As she gracefully waved her hand, followed by a piece of furniture she was fond of, she slowly descended the staircase. The goat nobles offered unanimous words of celebration in some long-forgotten language, and those who were deeply intimate embraced, filled with joy at their reunion. As the witch offered greetings of reunion, the witch's furniture followed behind her the whole time. There was a chain around its neck. The other end was gripped with the witch's hand, like it was a trained dog. It wasn't there to restrain him. Those chains were a restraining device whose only purpose was to wound the furniture's dignity. He wasn't permitted to wear anything else on his body. One of the young woman goats mixed in with the goat nobles, quietly removed her goat mask as the furniture passed in front of her. She spoke with eyes that had no light in them. That face seemed to belong to a long-haired young girl.
How pitiful. Oh, Lady Berncastle, welcome. Do you like my furniture?
That's a nice hobby. After saying only that, the witch called Berncastle once again put on her goat mask and was swallowed up by the shadows of the other tall goats.
Sore loser. She's ticked off, isn't she?
Oh wait, that's somebody else. Let's try that again. Sore loser. She's ticked off, isn't she?
You're not wrong.
The young woman goats giggled, and the witch once again let out a high-pitched laugh.
Thank you for gathering here for my sake. Why don't we enjoy the fullest this banquet of the witch, where old friends have gathered from the past and present, east and west? Come, we will eat all night, drink all night, slurp all night, and chew to bits all night as we enjoy ourselves. Look at the clock as it marks the ending hour and the beginning hour melt together. Come, let's begin the banquet of the witch.
When the witch announced the beginning of the banquet, the large clock pointed to 2400. The sound of a bell began to ring out.
Come, now is the time. Open the golden door.
All at once, the butterflies, leafed in gold, flew all around inside the room. Amidst the golden storm and the brilliant gold-colored light, the barrier between this world and another was cut open. Surrounded by the goats' delighted voices, the mansion of the human world and the mansion of those not human overlapped. And the members of the household who had praised the resurrection of the Golden Witch scattered into gold butterflies and poured out of the depths of hell. It was a golden tornado, a rondo of golden demons.
Come, tonight we shall put aside rain, throw open the wine cellar, drop the snake's head into the liquor pond. Throw cows and chickens into the furnace alive. Drink and eat and sing and dance. Sneer and kill and desecrate and degrade. Ah, Beatrice! Take me to the Golden Land now! To the Golden Land! Oh! Ah!
The gold nobles were suddenly crushing in around Kinzo, almost like they were kids demanding the signature of some famous movie star. There were only two differences. First, these were witches, not kids. And second, that these witches demanded was not a signature. The seat of gold nobles began to drown Kinzo. Only Kinzo's laughing voice echoed throughout the area. It was a grand mixture of laughter and his death throes, and Kinzo became wine and meat and bread. An aroma of slurped, a rich taste of gnawed and pleasant to tear to bits. The sound of his death throes lingered on sweetly, and adorned with melted chocolate and golden argent, it would create a wonderful dessert. If you took the bones home, you could use them in a soup, and the remains could even become toys for children to play with, and they could also become splendid tools for fortune telling that always brought misfortune. The entire scene was watched by the furniture. It was all fantastical. It was all demonic. Was the quaking of its supposedly paralyzed heart proof that it still could feel fear? At that time, its knees buckled, and the furniture's body fell down the middle of the carpet. After all, the witch had kicked those knees from behind.
Kneel and show your respect. Rub your forehead against the carpet and show how vulgar you are. Put your hands behind your back and swear that you will offer all your flesh and blood to me.
The furniture let out a painful voice. Fear is the most basic emotions humans have. Was that emotion reviving his sense of self, which should already have been slain?
So you're still far from suitable for my furniture. Very well. I will carefully finish you, making you to the kind of furniture I like. The kind fitting only for me. As you are now, I doubt you can offer more than entertainment for our guests.
The goat nobles were surrounding the crouching furniture. It seemed their blazing blood-red eyes couldn't hide their ecstasy at this new young food they had been given. And from its ugly teeth that stuck out the countless mouths, saliva, or maybe the traces of meat and wine they had just eaten, dribbled down. As the furniture let out a wild scream, it retreated, still sitting on its backside, while the circle of goat nobles was closing in. Then the furniture looked at the witch's face. They had surrendered to the witch, so believing that the witch would show some compassion, it stared at her face in the end. But there was nothing but scorn on the witch's face, and she wasn't even facing the furniture anymore. The witch went off to greet and honor guests with whom she had crossed gazes. The goat nobles looked down upon the furniture. Actually, they had been waiting. Just like how one must remove the cork in order to drink champagne, they had to wait for one thing before the partaking offering served at this banquet. Of course, the furniture didn't know about this thing, but it came out of his mouth all by itself, just like the unavoidable pop of a cork. It inevitably came from his mouth. There was a scream, a sign that marked the beginning of a modest banquet, at which he was to be served. Sorry, I don't know how to scream. I don't know how you're supposed to sound. I forgot. Sorry if it sounds bad. Oh well. It doesn't matter. By now, the garden was one of both roses and gold. A gold-colored garden where golden butterflies, gold fairies, and gold lizards rampaged and flew about wildly. Maria, quickly! Run! Quickly, 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 quickly! Rosa grasped her gun and the blanket wrapped around the ingot, and ran at a speed Maria couldn't match, sometimes pausing to call out for Maria to run faster. So she saw it every time. She saw the golden pursuers chasing them from the mansion. massive gold butterflies chasing them. It was like a massive crawling hand. A strange-looking shadows with goat heads were chasing after them. There was no need for her to strain her eyes, because those blazing eagles told her what would happen if she was captured.
Mama, wait! Mama, wait! Ow!
Maria fell down. For just this instant, Rosa was ashamed by thoughts of abandoning her daughter and running away. At the instant her feet touched the ground, she ran back. The goat head that had sprinted over to get the first bite grabbed a hold of the back of Rosa's own child's hair and pulled.
Mama! No!
Rosa ran into the goat head with her shoulder, spun, and bashed the back of her elbow into the goat's jaw, and buried her knee into its protruding chest. As she thrust the barrel of the gun inside the goat's head's mouth as it doubled over from pain in its gut. Just try laying one finger of Maria in front of me. I'll show you how lukewarm the hell you came from is. The blast from the Winchester .45 caliber's long Colt bullet exploded inside the goat head's throat, and its medulla oblongata was instantly pulverized. The goat head hadn't understood. It thought women were like pre-opened wine bottles. Yeah, I thought that turning them upside down would immediately make their deep red contents come out.
Mama! Mama!
Maria, who had been released, hugged Rosa. But pursuers were still coming. They couldn't get the giant goat heads who had given up pretending to be human running toward them from across the rose bushes. Rosa spilled several extra bullets which had been in the back pocket of her coat all over the place and told Maria to pick them up.
Yes! Pick up! Pick up!
Maria, if Mama falls down, run! Go to the shore and swim and swim and swim! There's nowhere for us to survive on this island!
No! I'll stay with Mama! Ah!
Rosa's gun roared 4 times, but even though 4 shots really did hit the massive approaching goats in the chest, they didn't even flinch. The goats ran with a violent vigor, as though they planned to crush Rosa and Maria with those massive bodies. Put the bullet in! Quickly!
Ah!
Rosa grasped the blanket with the ingot in both hands, as she herself sprinted, pulling it along, without even an ounce of fear of those strange-looking giants. If it's to protect my daughter, I'll overcome even hell. I'll show you this golden dream! Rosa roared. The goat heads roared. That terribly heavy ingot, after picking up a fierce centrifugal force and speed, slammed in the head of the goat head. Rosa pulled a fountain pen from her pocket, but she held it crooked. She placed it in her palm, in the gap between her middle finger and her ring finger, so that it stuck out when she made a fist, almost like a stinger that was growing out of it. That stinger sliced into the left eye of the goat's head as it fell over, was the goat head's roar scream. But Rosa's roar was different. She pulled back her fist and slammed the fountain pen that was still sticking into the goat head's eye. The pointed tip was gouged into the depths of its head.
Mama! The bullet went in!
Good job! When Rosa grabbed the gun Maria had thrown, the giant had finally tumbled to the ground with a thunderous crash. However, at the same time, I saw the goat-head pursuers on the other side of the rose bushes increase in number. I gained enough distance for now. I held onto the blanket wrapped around the ingot and the gun, and once again ran with Maria. Why am I running with the gun in my right hand and the gold in my left? Why don't I let go of one hand and grasp Maria's hand? I can't let go of the gun that protects my body. I can't let go of the gold that protects my future. But even so, I let go of the hand of my daughter, the one who is my future. Run. Run, run, run! She got out of the rose garden and began to run down a staircase through the grove of trees. But Rosa knew. This path through the grove turned and twisted many times and only seemed to be long. She straight through it. She had played there often since her childhood years, so she knew. To the beach, to the beach, to the beach, to the sea, to the sea, to the sea! And after reaching the sea, nothing to do but swim and swim and swim. If Maria can't swim, I'll carry her as I swim. There's nothing but death on this island!
Ah! Mama!
As she raced down the stairs, she took a bad step. A violent pain ran up her left ankle, and her mind went completely blank. Rosa fell down several stairs, shocked by her ankle, which was bent on angle, and the blanket which the ingot wasn't there. She had let go of it the instant she fell, and it had disappeared somewhere into the darkness. Only the gun was left. Tremors in the earth were getting closer. It was only a matter of time before the goat heads flooded in. She didn't want to imagine how many there would be, or how strange they would look. The lightly dancing gold pursuers arrived. The gold fireflies surrounded Rosa and Maria, waving and clamoring as though saying, "The prize is here, the prize is here." Rosa couldn't even try to get up. The violent pain from her broken ankle was so great, she couldn't even ignore it even in her last moments. What am I doing? I had the gold, which would have been worth several million yen. I might have been able to start over with that, and yet I fell. I lost it. Now my own life is in danger, and Maria's too. What has my life been? I was born into an incomprehensible family with an irritating older siblings ever since the day I was born. What did I do? No matter what I did or didn't do, I was always in trouble and bullied and made fun of. What has my life been? Mama! 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 The roar inside Rosa's heart shriveled away and disappeared. It disappeared when she heard Maria's crying voice as she sobbed and clung to Rosa. Maria. Mama remembered something else she's got to do. Please go on ahead. No! 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 I want to stay with Mama! Don't want Mama to die! Maria, even though I'm such a bad mama, you still say you want to stay with me? Yeah! I want to stay with you! I want to stay with Mama! I made it look like I was putting you first. I was always putting you off. I went to your athletic meet. I went to Parents' Day. I was always thinking about how I appeared to the world, and you were never in my eyes. Are you saying you want to stay with that kind of mother, even though I've been such a bad mother?
Hey, Mama, did you know you're my only mama in this world? There's no good mama or bad mama. There's just one mama. So I don't need any other mama in this world. And I want to be your one and only Maria. The Maria that you want to spoil when you're in a good mood, and the Maria who's a nuisance and that you don't want around aren't different people. There's only one Maria. So the scary mama and the nice mama are the same. To me, they're my one and only. Mama.
I was such an idiot. I didn't need gold. If only I had just pulled you by the hand. I was such a stupid mama. The shadows of the goats covered the sky even more thoroughly than the trees of the forest. Their roars blotted out the world with fear. Rosa still hugging Maria Ray, her gun with one hand. Maria, let's go together. I'll never leave you. Let's always stay together so Mama never gets lost again.
Yeah! We'll be able to see each other soon. We'll be able to go forever. We'll be able to see each other in the Golden Land. And then we'll play together. Play with the Wolves and She's puzzle. Mama hasn't solved more than one of the puzzles, but I solved them all. So I'll be the riddle giver.
She brought it as a birthday present and then had play with it for Maria after that first night. Yes, we'll play together. I promise.
Mama!
Those eyes, sparkling like red-hot lava, looked like just a group of butterflies. They danced, closed in, and attacked. Ah! Come on! Let whoever wants to beat the bullet Maria chambered in for me step forward!